Alright, kindly open your tortora para masabayan niyo ako sa discussion. Now, let's start with scrotum. Now, think of it as a kind of protective pouch for the testes, and it is composed of two main components. We have skin and an underlying subcutaneous layer. Now, this pouch-like structure hangs from the root of the penis. So, tingnan natin yung structure niyan. Externally, yung scrotum kasi is divided into two parts by a median ridge called raphe. So, para siyang seam na nag-run down sa middle ng scrotum. Internally naman, yung scrotal septum is what separates the two halves of the scrotum. And this is made up of a layer of skin and a type of or special type of muscle called dartos muscle. Okay, now pag-usapan natin yung temperature regulation, which is one of the most important roles ng scrotum. So, bakit important ang temperature sa scrotum? Now, start muna tayo sa sperm production or spermatogenesis. It requires a temperature that is slightly lower than the body's core temperature, so around typically 2 to 3 degrees cooler than normal body temperature. This is because sperm cells are very sensitive to heat, and if the testes were at body temperature, sperm production would be significantly reduced. So, dito napapasok yung role ng cremaster and dartos muscle. Let's start first with the cremaster muscle, which is a band of skeletal muscle that surrounds the testes. Now, itong muscle na to ay extension ng internal oblique muscle from your abdomen. So, when the temperature drops, yung cremaster muscle magkocontract, pulling the testes closer to the body for warmth. Kapag naman medyo mainit or when it is warm, the muscle relaxes, allowing the testes to hang lower away from the body to keep them cool. So, dartos muscle naman tayo. Si dartos muscle is located just under the skin of the scrotum. It also responds to the temperature changes. So, kapag malamig, yung dartos muscle magkocontract din, causing the scrotum muscle or the scrotum to wrinkle up and shrink, which helps reduce heat loss. Kapag naman medyo mainit, when it is warm, yung dartos muscle magre-relax, causing the scrotum to become looser and hang down, helping the testes to cool off. Next one would be the testes. No? Singular niyan would be testes. Again, yung testes, paired oval-shaped glands na nasa scrotum. It is located in the scrotum. Again, yung scrotum, as we have discussed before, is a pouch of skin that helps regulate the temperature of the testes for optimal sperm production. Each testis ay may 5 cm long, around 5 cm long, 2.5 cm in diameter. So, parang kasize niya yung maliit na itlog. Typically weigh around 10 to 15 grams each. So, tingnan natin yung development of the testes. Yung testes kasi, magsa-start yan na mag-develop near the kidneys in the posterior part of the abdomen. Now, during the fetal development, around the 7th month, yung testes magde-descend into the scrotum through inguinal canals. And this is important. This is essential because, as we have mentioned earlier, sperm production requires a lower temperature than the body temperature or than the core body temperature. Tingnan natin yung layers around the testes. Let's start with tunica vaginalis, which is a serous membrane derived from the peritoneum. Now, it partially covers the testes. No, it forms as the testis descends into the scrotum. And sometimes may collection of fluid na pwedeng mag-accumulate dyan, leading to a condition called hydrocele, which is typically harmless. The next layer would be the tunica albuginea, which is a tough, white fibrous capsule made of dense connective tissue that surrounds each testis. Now, ang tunica albuginea mag-extend yan inward, creating a septa or partitions that divide the testis into lobules or small compartments. Bawat lobule merong tightly coiled seminiferous tubule, no, which are the sites kung saan nagkakaroon ng sperm production. Medyo pasadaan natin yung spermatogenesis or sperm production. Okay? Ano yung mga types of cells involved? The first one would be the spermatogenic cell. No? These are the cells that actually form the sperm. They start from spermatogonia, which are the stem cells that remain dormant during childhood and only begin to produce sperm during puberty. We also have your sustentacular or Sertoli cells. These cells provide structural and nutritional support to the developing sperm. No? They also help regulate the process of spermatogenesis and protect the developing sperm from the immune cell or immune system by forming a barrier called the blood-testis barrier. Matidiscuss pa natin yan mamaya. Now, again, medyo pasadaan natin, no, yung spermatogonia or yung stem cell mag-undergo ng mitosis to form primary spermatocyte. Yung primary spermatocytes na yan, mag-undergo naman ng meiosis to become secondary spermatocyte, which later develop into spermatids. Yung spermatids magmamature into sperm cells, also known as spermatozoa. Now, these sperm cells are released into the lumen or the central space of the seminiferous tubule. Tingnan natin ngayon yung mga function ng Sertoli cell. No, ang Sertoli cell kasi para siyang katulong or nani ng seminiferous tubule kasi ang dami-dami niyang naitutulong. No, they nourish the developing spermatocytes, spermatid, and sperm. They also remove excess cytoplasm during sperm development. They also control the release of mature sperm into the lumen of the seminiferous tubules, and they also secrete inhibin, which is which helps regulate the sperm production by inhibiting the effects of FSH or follicle stimulating hormone. Now, sa gitna ng seminiferous tubules, no, ay may Leydig cells, also known as interstitial cells. Now, these cells are responsible for producing testosterone. Yun yung primary male sex hormone na merong role sa developing masculine characteristics kagaya ng facial hair, deep voice, na maintain din niya yung libido ng lalaki or yung sexual drive. Ngayon, pag-usapan natin yung blood-testis barrier. Again, ang blood-testis barrier kasi, ginawa yan ng tight junctions between Sertoli cells. Yung barrier na yan, pinaprevent yung immune cells from attacking the developing sperm. Now, bakit important yun? Kasi, ang sperm, meron yung surface protein na different sa body's normal cell. So, kapag wala tayong barrier, pag walang barrier ang isang lalaki, yung immune cell, it might recognize these sperm cells as foreign invaders and attack them. No? This blood-testis barrier helps to keep the developing sperm safe from the immune attack. So, medyo i-discuss natin yung spermatogenesis. Ang spermatogenesis kasi, nag-occur yan sa seminiferous tubules of the testes. So, approximately it takes around 65 to 75 days sa human. So, medyo matagal bago siya maging fully mature and ready for fertilization. So, yung process kasi magbibigin yan with spermatogonia. No, yun yung special type of stem cells na nakalocate near the basement membrane of the seminiferous tubule. Ang spermatogonia kasi diploid, meaning they have the full set of chromosome, 46 in total, 23 pairs. Now, some spermatogonia stay in this undifferentiated state na para silang reserve of cells para sa future sperm production. No? Para silang starter cell. However, yung mga iba naman magdi-differentiate into the next stage, which is the primary spermatocyte. No, again, from the spermatogonia, magiging primary spermatocyte via mitosis. No? These are diploid cells, 46 chromosome. So once the primary spermatocytes form, mag-undergo yan ng DNA replication and prepare for meiosis. Okay? Now, discuss natin meiosis 1. Dito sa meiosis 1, homologous chromosome line up at the metaphase plate and crossing over occurs. No, crossing over is where chromosomes exchange genetic material, which increases genetic diversity in the sperm. No? Again, here, the meiotic spindle pulls one chromosome from each pair to opposite poles of the dividing cell, and the result is the secondary spermatocyte, or secondary spermatocytes, each with 23 chromosomes, so haploid, meaning they only have one copy of each chromosome. Compared natin sa 46 sa diploid stage. Now, meiosis 2 naman tayo. No? This is where each of the secondary spermatocytes divides again without replicating its DNA. Sa meiosis 1, the chromosomes align in a single file along the metaphase plate, and the two chromatids of each chromosome, or the two copies of DNA, are pulled apart. The result is 4 spermatids, each with 23 chromosomes, half the number of chromosomes in normal body cell. So, from one primary spermatocyte, we ended up with 4 spermatids after 2 rounds of cell division, which is yung meiosis 1 at saka yung meiosis 2. Napag-usapan natin yung mga cytoplasmic bridges. No? Kasi, ang interesting feature ng spermatogenesis is that yung spermatogenic cells hindi completely nasa-separate during cell division. Instead, they remain connected through cytoplasmic bridges. Now, these bridges allow the cells to stay in contact with each other and develop in a synchronized way. No, important na synchronized ang development para ma-ensure na yung mga sperm ay napoproduce at the same rate sa seminiferous tubules. Additionally, nakakatulong din yung synchronized development sa survival ng sperm. No, tapos kapag tapos na ang meiosis, mag-enter na tayo sa next stage, which is spermiogenesis. Yun yung final stage of spermatogenesis. No, dito sa spermiogenesis, yung mga spermatids mag-undergo yan ng dramatic transformation into sperm cell. This process does not involve any further cell division, but it does involve significant changes, kagaya ng elongation ng spermatid, acrosome formation, flagellum development, nagkakaroon na rin ng multiplication of the mitochondria, yung exocytoplasm, nadi-discard din. So, pagkatapos ng spermiogenesis, yung mature sperm, ma-release na yan from the sustentacular cell, which is, yung process na yun, tinatawag natin na spermiation. At this point, yung sperm hindi pa yan capable of swimming or even fertilizing an egg. So, mag-enter yan sa lumen ng seminiferous tubule, where fluid secreted by the sustentacular cells pushes the sperm toward the ducts of the testes. Now, this fluid helps move the sperm along, pero hindi pa rin sila kayang mag-move. No? They're still immovable at this stage. So, from a single primary spermatocyte, meron na tayong 4 sperm cells, no, after 2 rounds of meiosis and a final transformation during spermiogenesis. Okay, dito naman tayo sa sperm. First, it's important to know na about 300 million of sperm ang napoproduce each day during spermatogenesis. However, despite this large amount, only a few hundred typically reach the egg. So, yung mga sperm cell natin, about 60 micrometers long lang yan and has a very specific structure that allows it to swim toward and penetrate the egg. So, tingnan natin ngayon yung mga iba't ibang parts ng sperm. Mainly, meron tayong head, meron tayong tail. Yung head kasi, of course, yun yung head ng sperm na merong genetic material, which also plays a crucial role in fertilization. Ang head ng sperm, flattened, pointed, 4 to 5 micrometers in length. Important yung size ng head ng sperm kasi nakakatulong yan para sa fertilization, para ma-penetrate yung egg. No? Sa head, meron ding nucleus, which contains 23 chromosomes na nagkakarry ng genetic information. Meron din yung acrosome, no, covering the anterior or front 2/3 of the head. Cup-like structure siya, and it is also filled with enzymes, crucial for fertilization. Ano ba yung mga enzymes na yun? Meron tayong hyaluronidase and protease. No, yung hyaluronidase kasi tumutulong yan to break down the hyaluronic acid sa outer layer of the egg para ma-reach ng sperm yung egg. Meron ding protease, no? Yan yung enzyme na nagbe-breakdown ng protein. Again, para makatulong sa sperm to penetrate the egg's outer membrane. Next naman tayo would be the tail. Divided yan into 4 distinct regions. We have the neck, the middle, the principal piece, and the end piece. Yung neck kasi, narrow region yan, right behind the head of the sperm. Important yan kasi nandyan yung mga centrioles. Ang centrioles kasi, tiny cylindrical structures yan and meron yung role sa cell division. Meron ding microtubules dyan na nag-extend through the rest of the tail. Important ang microtubules kasi nakakatulong yan sa whip-like motion ng tail. Next one would be the middle piece. No, critical yan for energy production kasi nandyan yung mitochondria. Alam naman natin na ang mitochondria nagproduce yan ng ATP that fuels the sperm's movement toward the egg. Kapag walang ATP, walang energy yung sperm to swim effectively towards the egg. Now, next would be the principal piece. Ang principal piece naman, yan yung longest part of the tail. Yan yung main propeller ng sperm. No? Yung mga microtubules sa region na yan, nagko-contract, nagwi-whip back and forth. Parang may movement yung sperm na parang swimming motion. Lastly, meron tayong end piece. Yan yung pinakadulo na ng tail. No, last section of the tail, wala siya masyadong contribution sa movement ng sperm. Now, tingnan natin kung paano nag-move ang sperm and paano yung nakaka-survive. No, kapag na-ejaculate kasi ang sperm, magta-travel yan into the female reproductive tract para i-reach yung egg. Most sperm, however, hindi nakaka-survive ng more than 48 hours sa ganong environment. Kasi, ang female reproductive system, challenging yan na lugar para sa sperm kasi acidic. So, kailangan yung sperm highly mobile at saka resilient to survive. As mentioned, yung middle piece natin, nagpo-provide yan ng necessary energy or ATP for sperm movement para mag-swim yan toward egg. Now, the sperm must navigate through the cervix, the uterus, the fallopian tube. No? Doon naghihintay yung egg para sa fertilization. Mapapansin din natin na yung sperm, specialized yan for fertilization. Well adapted yan para sa purpose niya. Kasi kung titingnan niyo yung head, no, nandun yung genetic material para mag-combine, no, with the egg's DNA. Meron ding acrosomal enzyme para mag-break down yung protective layers ng egg para sa entry ng sperm. Tingnan mo din yung tail ng flagella. No, andyan din yung mga cytoplasmic ridges. Now, dito tayo sa puberty and hormonal activation. Sa puberty kasi, certain cells sa hypothalamus magre-release ng hormone called GnRH or gonadotropin-releasing hormone. So, think of GnRH as the master key na nagto-turn on ng whole system of male reproductive hormones. Ang GnRH kasi nagsistimulate ini-stimulate yung anterior pituitary gland na mag-release ng two important hormone. Ano yung dalawa na yun? Luteinizing hormone and follicle stimulating hormone. So, i-discuss natin yung dalawa. Ang luteinizing hormone kasi primarily acts on the interstitial cells to stimulate the secretion of testosterone. Alam naman natin na ang testosterone, main male sex hormone yan. Steroid hormone made from cholesterol. It is lipid soluble and it can easily pass through cell membranes and enter the bloodstream. Now, next, follicle stimulating hormone. Ang FSH kasi wala siya masyadong directly na effect sa production of sperm. Instead, it works with testosterone to stimulate the sustentacular cell or your Sertoli cell inside the seminiferous tubule. Now, important yan para sa support ng developing sperm. Kasi ang FSH, no, it helps these sustentacular cells to secrete ABP or androgen binding protein. Ang ABP kasi, it binds to the testosterone, keeping its concentration high within the seminiferous tubules. Again, which is important for sperm production. Tingnan naman natin ang negative feedback regulation. So say for example, kapag mataas ang testosterone levels, yung body ng lalaki, may clever way siya, no, to regulate its production. Yun yung tinatawag natin na negative feedback. Kunwari, yung testosterone levels nag-rise to a certain level, inhibit ngayon yung release ng gonadotropin releasing hormone from the hypothalamus. As a result, yung LH secretion from the pituitary bumababa. No, naglilid yan sa less testosterone production by the testes. Now, this brings testosterone levels back to normal, which is a kind of homeostasis or balance. Now, if the testosterone levels drop down, the feedback system is reversed. The hypothalamus will release gonadotropin releasing hormone again, prompting the pituitary release of more luteinizing hormone para mag-stimulate yung testes to produce more testosterone. Okay? Again, ang testosterone kasi, principal androgen yan. A class of hormone that promote male characteristics. So, ano ba yung ginagawa ng testosterone? Number one would be prenatal development. Pag sinabi natin prenatal, before birth. No? Testosterone kasi, it helps shape the male reproductive system. It promotes the development of male reproductive ducts and triggers the descent of the testes into the scrotum. No? Actually, ang DHT or the dihydrotestosterone is a more potent form of testosterone na may responsible for the development of the external genitalia. Ano ba yung external genitalia? Your penis and the scrotum. Now, dito tayo sa pubertal development. So, pag sinabi natin pubertal, during puberty, no? At puberty kasi, yung testosterone at saka yung dihydrotestosterone, no? They bring about the development of male sexual characteristics, kagaya ng enlargement of sex organs, kagaya ng penis and testis, nagkakaroon din ng development of secondary sexual characteristics, kagaya ng muscle growth, no? Mas broad yung shoulder, narrower yung hips, meron na ding facial and body hair sa chest, sa face, arm. Nagkakaroon na din ng thickening of the skin, kaya nagkakaroon ng increased oil secretion. Kaya yung mga teenage boys, merong acne. No, nagkakaroon din ng deepening of the voice because of the enlargement of the larynx or the voice box. Tingnan natin yung role niyan sa sexual function. Ang testosterone kasi at saka yung dihydrotestosterone, may effect yan sa sexual behavior, sa libido, at saka sa spermatogenesis. No? Interestingly, androgens like testosterone also influence the sexual function in females. No? Pero lower, much lower compared sa males. Now, dito naman tayo sa anabolism. Pag sinabi natin anabolism, yung muscle and bone growth, no? Ang androgens kasi anabolic hormones yung mga yon, meaning na nagsistimulate sila ng protein synthesis na tumutulong yan mag-build ng muscle and bone mass. Which is why yung mga lalaki in general, mas marami ang muscle mass, mas stronger ang bones compared sa women because of the testosterone na nagpo-promote ng muscle growth and bone density. Nasabi natin kanina yung inhibin. Now, tingnan natin yung role ng inhibin. No? Kasi in addition sa negative feedback loop, meron pa tayong another layer of control. Yung sa tentacular cells kasi or your Sertoli cell, magre-release yan ng protein called inhibin. Ang inhibin mag-act yan to inhibit the release of FSH from the anterior pituitary. Now, nakakatulong yan to regulate the rate of spermatogenesis kasi kapag masyadong mataas ang FSH, magkukos yan ng excessive sperm production na unnecessary and inefficient. Kapag naman yung sperm production sobrang bagal, less inhibin is released para mas madaming FSH ang masasecrete. Thus, there's also an increase in sperm production. Okay. Dito naman tayo sa reproductive system ducts in males. So, unahin natin si ducts of the testes. So, under this one, meron tayong seminiferous tubules. No? These are tiny tubes in the testes where sperm is actually made, which is lined up with several special cells, kagaya ng sustentacular cells na nagpo-provide ng nourishment to the developing sperm. We also have straight tubules. No? As sperm moves out of the seminiferous tubules, it first travels into small straight ducts called your straight tubules. No? Very short lang yan. Parang dinaanan lang talaga yan ng sperm. Next one would be the retetestes. Kasi imagine na yung straight tubule parang highway leading to a major junction. Yung major junction na yun yung tinatawag natin na retetestes. No? Ang retetestes kasi network of ducts yan na mag-act as a central hub where sperm and fluids are collected. So, retetestes helps move sperm also to the next station. We also have efferent ducts. So, from the retetestes, yung sperm magmumove yan into a series of efferent ducts. No, ang efferent ducts kasi coiled, connected din sa epididymis. No? Next, epididymis tayo. So, ang epididymis kasi, small, no? Mga 4 cm, 1.5 inches long lang. So, para siyang coma shape, curling around the back and top of each testis. Now, yung plural of epididymis is epididymides. No? So, kapag dalawang side ang pinag-uusapan natin, epididymides. So, tingnan natin yung structure ng epididymis. No? This is actually made up of tightly coiled tube called your ductus epididymis. Kapag i-uncoil natin yan, magsastretch yan ng about 6 meters or 20 feet long, which is pretty impressive for something you can barely see. So, ang ductus epididymis kasi it is divided into three parts. We have the head, the body, and the tail. Ang head, yan yung larger superior part ng epididymis. Okay? Here, we also have here the body, the middle portion, and of course the tail. Yan yung smaller inferior part. Okay, tingnan natin yung function ng epididymis. We have sperm maturation, no? Kasi kapag ang sperm kasi na na-produce sa testis, hindi pa yan kayang mag-fertilize ng egg. Kailangan na mag-mature muna yan. And sa yung mga immature sperm cells na yun, sa epididymis magmamature. And this process takes about 14 days. Pero during this time, yung sperm cell mag-acquire na yun ng ability to move, para mag-produce ng necessary enzyme para mag-fertilize and mag-penetrate ng egg. Ano pa yung ginagawa ng epididymis? Sperm storage. No? After sperm are fully matured, magsastay yan sa epididymis until needed para sa ejaculation. Pero pwede yan ma-store for several months kapag hindi nagamit. Kung hindi nagamit, yung body i-reabsorb yan. Ano pang ginagawa niya? Sperm transportation. No, kasi kapag sexually aroused ang isang lalaki, yung smooth muscles of the epididymis contract in a wave-like fashion. So, moving the sperm from the epididymis into your vas deferens or your ductus deferens para sa ejaculation. Okay. So, ano yung nasa loob ng ductus epididymis? No? It is lined with a special kind of tissue called pseudostratified columnar epithelium. Pseudostratified meaning para silang multiple layers of cell. But in reality, no, isang layer of cell lang yan na naka-attach to the same basement membrane. So parang may appearance lang yan na layer. Columnar epithelium meaning tall, column shape. No, sa taas ng mga yan, merong stereocilia para sa increase of surface area. No? Important for sperm reabsorption. So, tingnan natin ngayon yung mga iba't ibang function ng epididymis. So, andyan yung sperm maturation. Kasi again, yung sperm produce sa testes, hindi pa niya kayang mag-fertilize ng egg. So, ang process ng maturation, about 14 days. Sperm storage, sperm transport. Okay, dito naman tayo sa ductus deferens, no? Also known as your vas deferens. No? Ang ductus deferens kasi, muscular tube yan that begins at the end of, or at the tail of the epididymis. So, mga 18 inches or 45 centimeter long yan. So, tingnan natin, no? Mas i-discuss natin to. Sa dulo kasi, or sa tail ng epididymis, yung ductus epididymis becomes less convoluted, meaning less twisted. O yung diameter nag-i-increase din. Dito, napapansin na natin na nagkakaroon na ng mark of transition into the ductus deferens. Now, yung ductus deferens kasi part yan ng spermatic cord. A bundle of blood vessels, nerves, mga connective tissue na nagko-connect sa testes to the body. No? So, the ductus deferens travels upward along the posterior border of the epididymis and ascends into the pelvic cavity. Maglo-loop over yan sa ureter and passes behind the urinary bladder. So, at the end of the ductus deferens, merong dilated portion dyan called ampulla. Yung ampulla kasi galing yan sa Latin word na little jar. So, maliit lang yan, small bulb-like structure, pero kaya niya rin mag-store ng sperm, no? Before they are released during ejaculation. So, tingnan natin yung microscopic structures or kung ano yung nasa loob ng ductus deferens. Line din yan ng pseudostratified columnar epithelium kagaya ng epididymis, and sa ilalim nun, merong layer of lamina propria. So, tingnan natin yung layers ng muscle sa part na to. So, the first one would be meron tayong inner and outer layers na longitudinal, and saka meron tayong middle layer na circular para sa peristalsis. So, ano ba ang function ng ductus deferens? Number 1, it conveys sperm during ejaculation. Kasi, during sexual arousal, may peristaltic contractions kasi ng smooth muscle in the ductus deferens para ma-move yung sperm from the epididymis to the urethra para ma-ejaculate. Na yung contractions na to, powerful, fast, para ma-ensure na yung mga sperm ma-reach nila yung destination when it's time to reproduce. Ano pa yung ginagawa ng ductus deferens? Sperm storage. No? Kaya niya rin mag-reabsorb ng unused sperm. Next one would be your spermatic cord. No? Ang spermatic cord kasi bundle yan na structures that run down from the scrotum and ascends into the abdomen. So, tingnan natin yung mga structures. We have, first one, ductus or vas deferens. No? Andun yun. Part yan ng spermatic cord. Yan yung nagtatransport ng sperm from the epididymis toward the urethra during ejaculation. Andyan din yung testicular artery, andyan din yung pampiniform plexus, autonomic nerves, lymphatic vessels, cremaster muscle. Okay. May mga times kasi na nagsuswell yung scrotum due to dilated veins sa pampiniform plexus. So, yan yung tinatawag natin na varicocele. Paano yun nangyayari? No? Kasi yung veins in the pampinimus plexus nag-enlarge, nag-twist, kaya bumaba ngayon yung blood flow. O kaya nag-increase din yung pressure sa may scrotum. Ano yung mga symptoms, no? Kapag nakatayo ang isang tao, mas noticeable yung symptoms. So, may feeling of heaviness, discomfort sa scrotum. Yung iba naman, wala masyadong pain. So, paano ngayon yung treatment nito? So, in some cases, no, majority of cases kasi hindi kailangan ng treatment. But in some cases, kailangan lang ng surgical procedure. So, ano yung role ng spermatic cord sa male production? Blood supply, temperature regulation, sperm transport, and protection.